and gentlemen, welcome to Ladit Akera podcast. Today we have another great episode with one of my big sis, definitely one of my favorite people. Beautiful energy, beautiful person, always on point and direct. So without further ado, introduce yourself to the podcast.
Hi, so I'm Rayshawna Bennett, the Realtor. Don't forget the Realtor.
The Realtor. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I like the red hair change.
Thank you. I had to get real fancy for you. Real fancy. I was like, oh, let me pop out the red phone.
Yeah. And the hat.
Yeah, the hat, the leather pants. Y'all want to see all of that? Yeah, we're giving it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, not too much.
Just a little bit teasing, but don't give them all.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that was an episode from Martin when he was when Pam's cousin came in town, and then he wanted to be her manager because she had a real good voice. And then when he took her to different agency, she was giving them the voice, and then when she was getting good, then she caught a sore throat, and then she couldn't. And then
I remember that one.
And then he was like, just give him a little bit, don't give him all of it.
Not too much, right? He was trying to downplay it, but she was sick for real. Because he had gave her like a makeover and everything, right? Because she was like real quirky, but she could really sing. I remember that episode.
She was real country.
Yeah, she was from like down south or something like that.
Yeah, but she lost her voice because him and Tommy was literally practicing with her the whole night, and then the next day when she went for her dishes, she just lost it. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, let's get down to it. So, how's real estate, Mrs. Realtor?
So real estate is going swell for me. It's really, I think it's really my stitch. Everybody tells me like when I popped out, because I came out of nowhere with it. So let me give y'all a little background a little bit. My situation is pretty like unique. Every time I tell people this story, they be like, "What?" So it's just ironically, in the pandemic, how I got into real estate before the pandemic, and this is what I live by. If y'all don't have y'all planners for the new year, please run and go get y'all right now. Because even I'm a big person that writes down. And even if you don't know that you wrote it down, you may forget it. But I swear, I hit every goal. May not be on time. When you go back on that book and you see all the goals you put, things that you forgot, and you accomplished it, you be like, dang, I didn't even know that I wrote that down. So case in point, I didn't even know I had this in my, so I've always thought of real estate. I've always been around real estate. My family has been around it, investors and things like that for years. So my biggest thing was I was thinking of what's next, my career, time to switch it up, things like that. And of course, how I'm gonna get money, biggest thing. And in the midst of that, in a pandemic, February 2020, I must have wrote. So a friend of mine gifted me, it's called a Happy Planner. So she gifted me this 2019. Shout out to my girl, Chrissy. I tell her every year I pick up my planner, I let her know like, hey, did you get your planner yet? And she like, yes, I did. We spoke like 2 weeks ago, like, yeah, we got our planners for the new year. Like, that's the best thing because it like goes off of you. And the one she had gotten me, I swear, hit me to a T. Like it was fashion, it was everything. Like I was just blown by it. So I have wrote down in February 2020, get real estate information for school. So I had talked to a broker and a lender that I knew of, just trying to figure out what's everything you can do with real estate because it's so much and people don't know.
It is. It's a very depth field.
I just start, asking. COVID hit, that got on the back burner. Ain't think nothing of it. Let's fast forward it to last year. What was it? September. It was September. It was September the 20th. Let's say it correct. Exact. September the 20th. I never forget because I literally Googled real estate schools near me or like top real estate schools, something like that. And a school came up, and I'm a big in-person. I can't do anything.
You can't do
Zoom.
Online.
No, I'm not doing online. You're not going to have my attention. I can't do it in my house. I'm not going to be focused. You're not going to get the best of me. So I said I need it in person. A lot of people were still doing Zoom. So I found this one class that was Zoom in person, called them, I looked online, I needed evening classes because I was working in the morning. So I seen the evening classes. The evening classes came, they started September the 20th. So I'm like, damn, let me see when the next one, I missed this one. So I called them. I hit the button for the waiting list, but I called them. I said, hey, when's the next one? She said it won't be till January. I said, okay. She said, but someone just withdrew from class. Yeah. She said it didn't start yet, so we let him withdraw. But I won't open up the waiting list if you pay right now. No words. Boom, sent me the bill, paid it, came straight from work, hit my mother up like, hey, I'm going to real estate school. She like, okay. Boom. Didn't have a pen, didn't have nothing. They like, all right, we'll make sure you have everything. Get in there. It's so funny. Everybody got their nice little name tags, like typed up because they were prepared. I'm coming in there. They flipped. Shout out to Scott. I don't know who Scott is, but Scott, you changed my life.
What up,
Scott is the one who I took in class. So when he took the class, when he got out of the class, they flipped mine over, put Rayshawna on it, just handwritten. I swear, I still got that thing so ghetto, handwritten it, but hey, I was in there. That was my seat. So as we're introducing ourselves, it's so funny. They want you to say like where you come from, your background, things like that. Everybody like, yeah, because I've been waiting for this class and da 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 da. So I started thinking like, damn, y'all was on the waiting list. Like, how lucky am I to be sitting in there and they really be having a strong waiting list? Like, yes. So I'm like, wow, what's the odds of me looking at this? Calling them. It starts that night, and that lady, I think her name was Linda.
Okay.
Miss Linda was like, listen, you pay right now, I won't even open up the waiting list. I'll let you go.
Right away.
They changed my life. Do you understand? So okay, go through the class or whatever the case may be. It was like 3 months, I want to say. It was super. So the class itself wasn't super hard. But when you got to that exam, it was super hard. So then I'm doing the research. Everybody like, oh, we took it 6-7 times, whatever. Everybody took it like this amount of time. And I'm going. So the first time I went, I'm sitting in there like, wait a minute, what is this? This ain't nothing that I studied. So a friend of mine, she had went before me. She said that. She called me soon as she failed, like, yo, that's not what we learned. I'm like, oh my God. So what I did was I had to go completely back. I was adamant because I'm used to taking exams with my previous field. So I knew how I went. The biggest thing was if you fail the real estate exam, you can come back, and it's 2 of them. It's Maryland and then it's the national. Okay. Maryland is crazy. I didn't even study Maryland at all. And I passed that on the second go around.
Okay.
So I just kept going back. Guess what? I was getting closer and closer. And it was like, I think you needed a 56 or something like that. Man, I got to a 54. Like, it was just crazy. So it's close. To the point, it's in my mind, it's embedded in me. So I'm like, listen, I'm going to pass. I went to the class, and I went to my exam like 8 o'clock in the morning, one morning, and I passed. Crazy thing about it, let me fast forward how God really works in mysterious ways. I was supposed to go see, I was going to see a condo. So an agent was showing me a condo. I passed that morning. So when she handed me one of the forms, it's called like to whom I may concern or something like that. That's pretty much saying, it's pretty much saying that, you're not in contract. It's just I'm an agent, and that I'm letting you know that's who I am. So I knew what the form was, and I let her know. And shout out to Stephanie. She was like, hey, hey, I was like, I just passed my exam. So she was like, you started looking at brokerages. I had went and seen a brokerage like a week or two before that. So I was like, not really, but I'm about to now. So she was like, check mine out. And I was like, okay. And she was just telling me all the things about it, as in Fells Point, the support and everything. So I'm like, all right, cool. I hit up the manager, Morgan, and she's been a lifesaver ever since. So I signed with them. Coldwell Banker in Fells Point. That's where I am. That's where you can locate me at. Okay. And the rest is history. Then in the midst of all that, before I chose them, I actually got introduced to Sherelle from Selling Tampa on Netflix. She got 4 brokerages now. Amazing. So in the midst of that, she's telling, she rolls out a course, and it's so funny. I'm so big on, I'm like, look, I'm not spending all my money for somebody to teach me something that, a lot of people are just taking money but not really teaching you. So that's my issue. Yeah. Or something I can find on the internet. Nah, when I say she was like a blessing as well. Before I chose my brokerage, it's so funny. She gives me a list in her course. She tells you all the things to ask them. My meeting with them, they had already answered all those questions. So when I asked her, she was like, yeah, she was like, your biggest thing is, just see what fits for you. And of course, she told me a couple other things. And I went off of
What
that.
do you
I was
mean
like,
by
yeah,
when she say use what's fit for you?
Yeah. So she was just saying like what fit for you, like a lot of people will pick brokerages off a commission, or you want this, but they're giving you commission, but are you getting leads? Without leads, you can't get money. Leads are, your clients.
Yeah.
If you don't have no way of giving me leads, I'm new to this. How am I going to get, you need money. You need me to make you money.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing. So I'm like, okay, so that was the biggest thing. A lot of brokerages couldn't tell you that. They set up, they just wanted you, I guess, you to do it on your own. I know I know people and I knew enough people, but it was like, I need you to also teach me as well. I'm new to this. Right. So that was my biggest thing. I went to them and I actually flew there on Easter. She had like an event. We went, had a we partied, we dropped jewels. It's my highlight of 2022, actually. Like, it was amazing. So I learned so much. We had so much fun. She was so down to earth. Still, if I DM her right now, she'll answer, like super, super cool. So shout out to Sherelle as well.
That's what's up. What up, Sherelle? How many classes did you have a week for that real estate class?
For my real estate class, I think I went 2 times a day, 2 times a week.
2 times.
Yeah, because I think you have to do 60. It's like 60 hours or something like that.
60 hours, okay.
And so you have to have 60 hours. Then you have to pass that. Then you can go take your exam.
So which one was easier, the Maryland or the national exam?
Oh, the national was definitely harder. If you look it up, everybody, like when I started doing like research, everybody was like, yeah, I took that 6-7 times. Like that's the usual.
Sheesh.
But the good thing about it is when you go in there, it's like, so I had it down pat. I knew it was 2 different tests that they was like rotating out. Yeah. Like I had it down pat. I was like, oh yeah, it's 2 different tests. One test I used to do horrible on, and it was really the wording. So the wording of it was like, will really throw you off. So when you learn your wording, you'll be fine. Because the wording you'll think is one thing and one definition, but it's not. It's multiple choice, but it's definitely not a tough cook. It's definitely a tough cookie.
So it is like with the wording, is it like, it's pretty much real estate words that your average Joe would not know what it mean, or
then your vocabulary is huge in anything you do, of course, but it's also how they're saying it. So you'll think it's for this, and it's really for that. You understand? Because they're so close together. So you have to be able to break it down to say, okay, this goes to this goes to that.
Oh wow. Okay. Now, how many is your broker? Is it just Maryland wide, or is it nationwide as well?
No, so how it goes with your brokerage is going to be Maryland. So wherever you pretty much have your license at, like I'm Maryland. Your broker is in Maryland, so that's where you'll be at. So you have to be with a broker in whatever state you're in.
Okay, so what's the difference between what you're doing and commercial real estate?
So commercial real estate is pretty much your big things like a shopping center, an office space, things like that.
Okay. So
and I'm residential, so I'm actually working on my commercial. I'm working on my commercial. That's one of my 2023 goals. So y'all gonna see me real soon on that aspect as well.
Okay, so how is the market right now though for people that want to sell or want to buy?
So now, of course, everybody, it was a frenzy. When I first got in, it was a seller's market. So everybody was going crazy over one house. It was all types of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now the interest rates went higher, but so it just depends on where you're coming from. That's the biggest thing. So I work a lot with investors. I have investors. So of course they just got to make sure I try to provide properties that's going to make sense to them. And of course make money because they want to make a rental profile. That's their biggest thing. So once we run the numbers and it makes sense, it's cool. Also with that, Baltimore, and I tell people that all the time, Baltimore is really, really a city that you need to invest in. When people come here, it makes me really upset because there's so many of my clients that's not even from here. And I'm telling people that I know that have money or have the capital, like, listen, get in, because it's going to be on some New York type of stuff where you can't get in a while. You
Yeah,
see how Harbor East, you see how Canton, you see how Patterson Park, you see how they put all those areas up. That's going to be the whole city. So now how they did the east side, they moved over to the west side. So they have different projects to get rid of these vacant homes. It's not going to be vacant homes. Like they're going to dwindle down. So I tell people all the time, get in, like, come on, get in. Let's see what you can do, because that's the biggest thing. Okay, so I work a lot with investors. That's my, so it just depends. Interest rates, like I said, are like a 7. But the thing about it is people forget that is a little high, but people got so stuck on that 3%, 2.5, 4. They are actually below market. Like that, if you got a mortgage at that point, shout out to you. That's all I can say. You get what I'm saying? Because that was not even normal, but it was amazing for whoever was purchasing. But people, you know, people get stuck on things and they like, oh, that's the regular. No, it's not. And it just, whatever fits for you. Like I tell people, I have friends that's buying right now. They look at it as, look, this is an investment for me. I don't own anything and I pay rent anyway, so I gotta live somewhere. So it just literally have to be what makes sense to you. I don't push anything on. I always ask my client, what makes sense to you? If you know, like a friend of mine, one of my clients has a great down payment, but it's more to just a down payment. Nobody really knows that. So you have your appraisal fees, you have your closing fees, you have your home inspections, all of them that the buyer has to pay for. So you have to have more than a down payment. So that's what we're working on. I told her, listen, you have a great down payment savings right now, but I also want you to be comfortable in your home. I want you to be able to furnish it. I want you to be able to, you know, feel comfortable and not feel like, you know, you're running crazy paying a mortgage or whatever the case may be. We're not in a rush. I know she's going to purchase. She know I got her back to the moon and back. Like that's a good friend.
Make sure she gets
so she that's what I told her, like, we're not rushing. We're going to find the correct house and where you are comfortable, because she makes a good amount. She's good, but you got to look at it as also just you purchasing, and not only that, are you comfortable with that mortgage? And like we talked about it, also even like my investors, they look at that as well. You can always refinance. So if you see something a deal that you need to get, don't be stuck on that. The interest rates, God willing, they're gonna go down. So you jump on that once they start going down, do your refinance, and voila, you own something. The biggest thing is, like I'm telling everybody, like, we need to own some things. That's the biggest thing.
Nah, it definitely is. Ownership, once you have that, ownership is very hard to get rid of, and you can literally decide what your value, what market is whenever you want to sell or whenever you want to buy. So definitely, you know, you as a realtor, just keep on pushing that. And are you planning on having your own
like my own broker?
And like your own brokerage?
Yeah, that's called a broker. So that's called a broker. So I've talked to a few people. So I have friends that's out of state. My biggest thing is, I'm in Maryland right now, but I'm definitely going to relocate in 2 years, probably when my son goes to college. Shout out to my son. So my boy is, once he goes to college, I always been big on, like, I want to see another part of the world. I want to live somewhere else. So I have so many friends that live out of town, and I've been just locking in with them, getting different aspects. And I have a friend, shout out to Rich, my guy. He's a broker, and he's helped me with real estate as well. Like, I call him, he's actually been my go-to. I don't really have a go-to person per se in Maryland. I mean, it is what it is. But no, I'm lying. Let me take that back. I'm lying. Shout out to Leon. So Leon, he's been amazing too. So Leon was with my broker, he left or whatever, and went somewhere else that fit. He runs a team. He has a team. So that was, that was my guy as well. But Rich, he's in Florida. He's amazing. Just overall, he doesn't know Maryland laws, of course, but he knows. Everywhere you go, it's still the same platform. Is this step, this step, this step, this step. It's just different things in your contract that you would have to learn, pretty much. So you'll learn that once you get there and, you know, start working with someone and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty interesting. It's I mean, it's very popular right now. Everybody's like, I want to be in real estate. I want to be an agent. I want to be
Yeah.
this. I want to be.
Mhm.
And what you just explained to me in 10, 15 minutes is so much. It's literally
It's
not,
it's so
it's not a piece
crazy.
of
I
cake.
also in the midst of all this, out of nowhere, I rolled out a property management company. Shout out to my mom. Me and my mom
Okay.
run that
Nice.
top-notch property management, because I would get these agents, I mean these investors, and they
Yeah.
would ask me like, oh, can you run my house? Like they don't want, it's a lot to that. So you have
Yeah.
maintenance, you have things that you just can't do, but you'll pay someone to do it. And that's where we are. You don't want to do maintenance. You don't want someone calling your phone for certain things. You don't want to get rental payments. If it's certain ways of a lot of people still just want to do cash. They don't want to do electronics. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to do that, that's when we come into play. So I end up rolling that out in July, I believe, because
Yeah.
someone came to me and was like, look, I want to run. And I was like, no what? My mom has a big background on that as well. She knows a lot. I asked her, I'm like, you want to do this? She like, yeah. So shout out to that first of the month coming up. So I'm coming to get them. It's so funny. They so good. They actually hit me up. Like they knew that it was on a Sunday and it's a holiday. They're like, look, I'm sending my payment now. Can you come get my payment now? So
And
we've been
with,
blessed.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely, I mean, it's, you can see the work that you're doing, not even just anybody, the more work that you do, the more doors and opportunity open.
Definitely.
People that are just sit around and say, hey, I want this opportunity to come to me, but you're not putting nothing into it.
No
Like it's
forfeit. Yes.
exactly like you say, I want to be a real estate, I already a real estate agent, realtor. I wrote everything down. You might not have thought of, hey, I'm going to be a property manager. I'm going to run it with my
No,
mom. You didn't think of that.
so many things have came to me, different avenues, and it's just doing it. Literally day to
Yeah,
day talking to people, and people just reaching out to me and like, hey, you do this. Hey, you like, a lot of people don't know that I do rentals.
right.
I love rentals. So I have a big goal that I'm going for next year. So I've been really pushing that. If you're not ready to buy, hit me up. I can
Yeah,
find you a place. You don't have to pay a fee. That's the great part about it. They don't know that they don't have to pay a
yeah.
fee. So it's not like you have to pay me and then I look for you. No, you literally, I'll get paid once you find that sign that lease. So yeah, that's one of my top goals to do rentals. Rentals are super easy. Like,
So
why not?
rentals, are those like apartment townhomes or just
No,
strictly houses?
like a house that you're, so apartments, they have their own commission going on there. If you
Right.
look, they have their own leasing agents, they get paid commission, usually when you rent certain, units or whatever. But
Yeah.
no, just rental properties like houses and things like that. So that's what I
Okay.
did. Once again, everybody needs somewhere to live. Unless you
Exactly.
fortunate you living somewhere else, but I don't know if you gonna like that situation. I don't know. You know, I mean, I don't know. But you need somewhere to live. So it's a no-brainer, but not don't let I don't want anybody to ever think that it's peaches and cream either.
Yeah, not
You really have to be, so many people be like, yeah, because I watch Selling Sunset and I look at them like, oh, okay. Like, shout out to
that,
them. Don't get
that,
me
that
wrong, shout out to
that's in
them.
every
I
industry.
love it. Because that's my biggest thing we talked about. Yeah. So, but you have things where it be the craziest things that's going on. I'll be looking like, huh? Like all I can do is laugh. So next year, that's one of my goals as well. I'm gonna try to be more active on
Yeah.
social media and really, really show like some different aspects and things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely social media now is literally it's
Yeah,
running
it's definitely the
everything.
top.
Marketing.
My biggest thing is I've always been a private person and everybody knows that. So
Yeah.
now I can't be that much. I mean, I still could be private, but I'm here. So that's what we're gonna do. I have my friends that help me tremendously.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be where I'm at right now without them. My girl Cherie, she has a boutique. I take it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it up once this drops so y'all can shop with her. And she helps me so much I'll send her something like, can you make me this real quick? And she'll be on Canva. I'm going to learn Canva next year. They say it's super easy, but I'm just not that techie girl. I'm going to get there now. And then my little daughter, Maya, she's done some of my Canva things as well. When
Yeah.
I had open houses and stuff, and they done it so fast and they send it to me and they're like, hey, put this up, do this. They really taught me this these last couple months. Like, I can't even think about it. And shout out to you, because I was at so many, like 2 different people asked me to do their podcast. And I was like, no, I can't. Why? Because I kept telling you all year that I was going to do this. So of course your first stop was, my first stop was going to be here. Like no matter what, this is the guy that made my logos. He made my logos for my son, his vending machine. Shout out to Dynamic Dynasty. Follow us on Instagram as well. He did my logo, of course, for me, Rayshawna the Realtor. Like, he nailed it. When I say nailed it. Everyone was like, that's it. Who did that? That was amazing. So book my bro so he can hit y'all with these logos. Like, he did really, really well. I really, really appreciate him. I can't even, like, I tell him, but I don't think he knows how, like, much I really, really appreciate that. Like, I literally text him. He like, oh, I got you, sis. Oh, you got your license? Congratulations. Let's get to working. Like, he starts sending me stuff right then and there. Like, I mean, you got to have people in your corner. And I got some dope people in my corner. I do.
You definitely got to have a good team to get to where you want to go, because nobody can do or carry the load all by themselves. You feel me? It's like, if anybody think that, oh, they can be a one man or a lone wolf, you are so ignorant and so arrogant that you can't balance things out, because
and self-centered and everything else.
Like you said, you are a realtor, I'm a designer. Hey, can you do this logo for me? But I got you. Hey, I got some money. I'm looking for a property. Instead of going looking around for myself, no, I know somebody that can help me out, and that's their specific craft, and that's what they do best. They're expert at. Let me give a phone call and all that. So yeah, I mean, that's good. So what is the best way? Like, I know you touched on it a little bit, like you said, if you have a great down payment, but you have the fees and etc., all that. But what is the best way to invest in a property? Is it good to invest and live in it, or just good to keep it?
So you always want to keep. So it just depends portfolio. Now, I have some people that want to flip. Why? Because they want that, that back and get some money in your pocket. That's cool. But you always want to be your goal. I tell everybody, your goal should be get doors. That's what we say. You want doors and keys. Why? Because we own them. You can do so much with that as well. You do rental, that covers your mortgage, and put some money in your pocket, put it in savings, put it away. I know a lot of people that take that, save it all year, then put something to it, go buy another property. So it just depends where you are in life. You want to buy something and live in it. I mean, of course, you need somewhere to live, so that should be your first thing. But I've known it depends whatever your situation is. Because if you say, for instance, I have a friend that bought a huge house. He rented it out. Why? Because it's just him. It made more sense. Why not go? You have 2 other avenues of revenue, and income, then that was a third one. You were pretty much sitting on cash, like 6 bedrooms, and he didn't need them. Like, it literally, because he had bought it for a specific reason, and he felt like he already accomplished that. So why not? Like, that's the biggest thing. So it really is. But what I can tell you is that's why one of the reasons why I got into real estate, because anybody that I know that has money, and I'm talking about money, owns real estate. That's what I can. Every last person that I know that is pretty much good owns real estate.
Definitely. I mean, and it's something that appreciate. It does not.
It's always like appreciate. I know people. Listen, let's talk about appreciation. I know somebody that bought something, probably like, what was that? Probably, was it 2020? Maybe 2019. I don't know what it was, but sold it. Guess how much they got? Over 100K. Full loan, paid off, and only had it for like a year.
Wow.
I promise you. Walked away with 100K. Another friend of mine, same little scenario for her. She walked away with a good, maybe like 60, 70. And yet you did nothing. She lived in a house for probably like 10 years, and she sold it. And when she paid off her balance for her loan, I want to say, no, I'm lying. She probably got like over 100 too. Yeah. So I always appreciate. So let's just think about that. I keep telling people, I don't know about nobody else, but my words, think big. Think big. The whole 20, it's been that way, period. But it's really, really, it's really up this year. Like, it's really think big.
Definitely. So what would you say, since the let's go, it's 2022, 2022. In 2 days, it'll be 23. So the World Cup is coming in 2026.
I hear.
Yeah, you think would it be better to? Because I know since it's gonna be in America, a lot of people are gonna come because
A whole
everybody want to be in the States. You think would it be best? Because I know right now, Airbnb are having a lot of problems up and down.
Yes.
Do you think it would be a good investment to get some properties right now and then fix them and get ready for the World Cup and then just have the tourists or whoever come into the
I
real
mean,
estate or
so
stay away from
my
that?
thing, so I think my thing is with everything else, unfortunately, people get on a hype and then people do crazy stuff.
Right.
Airbnb was a genius thing. Why not?
Yeah.
When we travel and when I travel, me personally, I've never stayed in the Airbnb, but I had my own reasons in not staying in the Airbnb.
Yeah.
I'm very finicky about being in anybody's house. Then I'll start thinking about, do you got cameras? I start thinking all types of stuff.
Yeah.
So me personally, I've never done an Airbnb, but I was thinking about opening an Airbnb. I know a couple people have done it. They were good in it, especially with travel nurses. They did Airbnb,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing because nurses are always traveling. But it slowed down a little bit because of COVID. But it's definitely not a bad thing. Not only that, if you have a property, it's so many things you can do it. You feel like your Airbnb, and I know people that's doing it right now, slowed up. They put a rental client in there, a
Yeah.
tenant in there. So you're gonna get money regardless. You just gotta think outside the box and just think. And worst come to worst, if you feel like you can't move this house, sell it. I had a client that came to me. She was with another agent. She I got introduced actually. Shout out to my guy OKK. I got introduced. That was a friend of his. And he said, "No, what? I have an agent that's in Baltimore City because I specialize." That's another thing. Most of my investors come to me because I specialize. I know Baltimore City. I can tell you what's going on, like how I broke it down earlier, how they fixing the areas out, and how it's pretty much going to be. I'm a city girl, so I know everything pretty much what's going on in the city, so I can let them know, nah, let's not do this. We can do this, but this would be a great get in here right now while it's low. I can break it down to you. So she had a property and she's from a top part of Maryland. She's not from here.
Yeah.
She has a property. That property was sitting. She had a tenant in there, sitting in there for COVID, of course, not paying rent, finally got her out. She was with another agent, but the agent, once again, is not from here. I'm going to give a word of advice. If you are an investor, do not ever, and when I say ever, I don't care if this person is your friend to the core, maybe give them some other business, but do not pick an agent that's not near your property, that doesn't know anything about your property. That's not going to help you because it's all cool, how it's all fun and games, and the internet, like we spoke, the internet is amazing. It can take you amazing places, but at the end of the day, it still boils down to who knows who and what. Yes, because with that property, it was a special property. It was amazing, brick wall, but it had the spiral case. So then you have a lot of people that you are pretty much like your demographic is going small because these spiral cases, you can't have somebody that's overweight. Nobody with health problems. You understand? You pretty much got to be in a good fit for you to fit in these spiral cases. But it was a beautiful house, 2 bedrooms. You can walk 2-3 blocks from Johns Hopkins. Think about it. Johns Hopkins is top 10 in the world, not the country.
Not the country,
world.
Top,
She was so frustrated by the time she came to me because she made no money off of the property, but got it at a great deal. She was like, listen, I think I'm going to just let you sell it. I told her, give me a month. I looked at her contract, seen when her contract was going to expire. I said, come back to me when your contract expires with that other agent. I don't do no crazy stuff. I'm going to look at a contract. Her contract coincidentally was expiring in like 3 weeks. That was like 4th of July.
Yeah.
She contacted me back. She like, hey, I let her know. I sent the email, let her know that, she could pick up her sign or whatever. I said, okay, all right. I said, give me to September. I told her to September. Her place, she was in Spain traveling. I had her place rented within like 3 weeks. I had a tenant in there for August. She thought it was for September. She was thanking me like, oh my God, are you serious? I was like, no, they are ready to move in there. She could not believe it. But you know what? That property, that didn't go off of the internet. The internet didn't rent that property. I rented that property.
You did, yeah.
Because I know who I know and things like that. And I sold that property. So you always got to go off of things like that. You can't be one-track minded. You can't just be there and think like, the internet gonna make the money for me. Nah, like sometimes you gotta get up and run it. Like I get up and run every day. These shoes be on the ground. Like that's how
you gotta keep moving. You can't just wait on it.
You gotta
Nobody's
keep
gonna
moving.
come
But
and
a
knock on
lot of
your
people
door.
get lazy.
Yeah,
like
they wait on
don't get me wrong. I like money. I like to get them phone calls when I be in the bed too. Trust me. I be like, oh yeah, I ain't gotta do too much today. But I always the next day, I'm out money. That's not enough for me. I'm not content with a lot of things.
Nah,
so I'll be super hard on myself. Like, no, that ain't it. I got that done, but no, we want more.
Exactly. So which one is the best way to buy a property under your name or an LLC or a sole corporation or whatever?
So LLCs is mostly all my investors have LLCs. Like that's always going to be pretty much your go-to big thing because of tax purposes. I'm not a tax expert, so get you one or accountant. Ask them; they'll be able to break it down to you. But I do know that because even with me being an agent and how I'm paid, my biggest thing is when you start getting the big bucks, transfer to an LLC.
Right. Okay.
And it's really for tax purposes, like I said. And if you want to invest, like I said, just see where you are in life. I know people that felt like, if you don't have any children and you have this house, they rented out rooms. If you're comfortable with that, it's so many ways of you getting in and out. Renting out rooms, the college student, things like that. It's so many things you can do with what you have your day-to-day things. You just gotta think.
So let's say we have a property that somebody buys at 80, right? And that property, how long would you expect to get that $80,000 back within renting every single month, right? So like say if rent is 1,000, right? And the property is 80, and then you have somebody that live there for a year, you get 12, right? You're still in the negative. Now, obviously the math will not make sense to buy another property if you have the money. Would you recommend somebody to, hey, at least have half of the 80 paid off, then get a second property, or get your 80 plus back and then get a second property?
So what I don't do, once again, I do not tell anybody to do what to do with their money. Like that's what you have to do what's comfortable for you. So some people, I know a lot of people that's cool with that. People love what they using other people's money.
Yeah.
That's another thing. They'll do that, or using credit for everything. Me personally, I don't like to owe anybody.
Yeah.
So if I could go pay buy a house straight out, that's what I'll do. Not only that, you got to think when we're going in these offers and stuff like that, cash buyers are always going to get picked first. Why? Because you don't have to worry about no contingencies with finance and none of that. It's going to be super fast. It's going to be a wire transfer and you done. When you're doing a lender, the buyer has to do certain things and make sure they hit it. It's a lot of back and forth sometimes, depending on and things like that. But me personally, it just depends what your money flow is and what do you want to do. I know plenty of people that own theirs, and then I know plenty of people that got the 80-20, whatever, like that's what fits for them. And they get one and then they get another one and then they get another one and they get another one. So
now with your investors, do you usually have sole investors or do you have like a group coming to you and say, hey, we have this property, can you lease it for us or can you get us this property?
So they bought the properties from me and then I'll put a tenant in there. Right. So they'll also pay me as that way as well. So they'll do that, or a group of them, no, they pretty much giving out my number though. So it's word of mouth, like, yo, I was able to get this done in this amount of time, things like that. So yeah, so word of mouth, that's a big thing. References. You always want your clients to come back and give you a reference. Like that's my biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's so funny. It's so funny because someone had reached out to me and trying to sell something, of course, but he was like, I Googled you, and I'm still not used to that, but Google me, guys. And he Googled me, and he was like, how did you get these Googles this time? I'm like, I sent my links to my customers and they said what they said. Like that's how it
Yeah.
went. But now we have this other thing with agents, like when we do a deal, when we do a transaction, and that kind of sort of feel really good to me as well, because people don't talk. I mean, working with other agents can definitely be, and I was told that like that'll be like the part sometimes, and I can see, you know, it's not the easiest, but at the end of the day, I don't want to ever be like pretty much not likable, because I want you to pick my offer. Hopefully, that's number one for my client. Or if you're bringing, I want you to not skip over my house. Like I ain't showing it because we had this running before. Like it's so small here. I've ran across the same agents a few times.
Yeah.
Especially if you out there and you're doing well and doing like that. So you never want to, I know me personally, because I've ran into certain things and I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with that.
Nah,
so you want to be an easy agent. Me personally, that's
easy
what I want to do. I want to be an easy agent, make the trends. Like one of my fellow agents, we just did a deal and that was her thing. She was like, even my investor was like, wow, she's amazing. She made that transaction. That was one of the easiest transactions we ever made. The communication was great. I'm big on communication. That's my biggest thing. My pet peeve is I do not want anybody calling me about something that I was supposed to help you with. Just be on top of it, give an update, and you know, and let people know where you are at. But a lot of people I've heard like, oh, my agent wasn't answering. I'm like, huh? And I always make a joke like, these agents must be rich. Because I mean, you're not answering the phone.
They pick up which one they want to pick up.
Sale? They the phone calls that I'm going to answer.
Yeah. So how much work is too much work for real estate, for a realtor?
It depends. I mean, it's different aspects. So you can pay for someone to do all your paperwork, transaction coordinator. You pretty much just show the house. Most people did like have a lot of clientele. That's what they do. So it just depends. Me personally, I do all my work at the moment. I need all my coins. So when I get somebody to hire, come on, y'all, come through and tell me what y'all can help me with. Once in a year or two, if I need somebody, I'm definitely going to do. But right now, I want to learn everything. So I'm not going to push anything off to somebody, and I still need to learn that. You know,
that's actually dope, because that's one of my methods that I use, because I know as a graphic designer, you know, people will say, hey, can you do web for me? Can you do animation? Can you do logos? Can you do advertising? Can you do brand identity? And when I was in school, my professor, she was just trying to make me focus into one thing, which was logo design and logo portfolio. But then maybe about 3-4 years ago, I heard Nipsey said that when he was making his album and working with his engineer was like, hey, I can't do this, so we can't do this on the song. And then Nipsey was like, you know what? He got rid of his engineer, and then he learned how to be an engineer. He learned how to be a producer. Wow. He learned how to design.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he learned how to design his own logo for his cover art and all that. So he said next time when he hired the next engineer and he has a team around him, he's like, hey, if I put you in a specific place to do something, if you can't do it, just say you can't. Don't tell me it can't be done, because me, myself, I have already done it.
Exactly.
And he actually said that on the Breakfast Club. And he said,
sleep in peace. I love it.
I'm a producer. I'm a DJ. I design my own cover art. So the team around me already know what their job is. You don't want to do it, or you can't, guess what? There's always somebody gonna be patient.
Listen, you gotta go. Like it's simple. It's that simple. But yeah, so it's a lot of work. Some things go easier. You be like, damn, that was an easy transaction. Yeah. But everyone is not like that. You have a lot of back and forth sometimes, especially like when you go under contract. And then when you do these, your appraisal might be it came in low. So then they got to figure out who that portion, where is that coming from? Because the bank is only going to lend what it is appraised for.
Right.
So things like that, you know, your what is it called? Your Your inspection. Your inspection. Your inspection come back, and then you like, okay, the buyer like, okay, this is everything that's wrong. Seller needs to fix that before we close. Okay, seller like, all right, I'm gonna fix it, or I'm not. It's a lot of back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot where I heard it at, but also the nasty part about real estate. Some I don't know if it's the sellers or the homeowner that's selling the house. Sometimes people don't tell people that the house has a lien on it. Now.
Oh yeah, so that's another part. You gotta pay title as well.
Yeah,
So that's
title,
who does everything. Title finds any liens, they find anything going on with the house, water bills, liens, like, because that comes out a lot, because what happens is people refinance their house. When you refinance, and that's why I tell people, you got to think what works for you. When you refinance your house, you have 2 loans. You got to remember that. That person, they forgot about their loan being on there, that second loan, and then it came up and they were in the hole for so you have to be careful with that. But that's what title comes. That's what when you're a buyer, you hire a title company. Title company will do a whole sweep. They come and let you know what they found. If it's nothing, you know, it'd be an easy transaction, boom. But if they find whatever fees, the seller has to pay for it.
Damn. So that's basically to dumb it down like a Carfax, pretty much.
Yeah. So pretty much like a Carfax, yeah. Okay. A fax report on anything that's going on with the home.
Now, excuse me. Like you said, you in the near future you see yourself moving out of the state. Now, when you move, do you have to do the next state real estate class all over, or you can just go and take a test? So
it's certain ones. So I've heard certain things that you don't have. It depends. Every state is different. That's all I can say. So whatever state you go to, you gotta look up their rules and regulations and probably call their board of realtors and find out. So that's what actually my goal is as well, because I need to narrow down where I would like to go next. And start that process of getting my license there.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So if you stay here in Maryland, what would be like the 2 to 5?
So I'm always say my Maryland license. Maryland is home, so I'm never going, you know, not be able to, because
not be able to say,
whoever, say for instance, you call me like, hey sis, I'm trying to buy this. I can still, I know the area, I can still do what I need to do for you. I can hire somebody just to show you the houses if I'm not here. We can still do the transaction. Or if I feel like it's too much, I could just send you, I could get a referral, I could referral it out and get a referral fee and get another agent to help you. So I'm always going to have my Maryland license. This is my first license. I'm not letting my baby go. Nope. I'm just going to add to the pile.
Add to the pile. Okay.
But I definitely was told, do not have multiple. So I see a lot of people doing multiple and you can. I mean, it's to each his own. But I like what this person has said to me. They were like, I have, it was another state, and they was like, why I don't use it. Now that person opened a brokerage in there, and they let somebody out, one of their best friends run it. So that made sense. But she like, I'm not going to North Carolina and sell anything. You know, like I don't know that area. You need to know your areas as well. Like you need to
that's very true.
Be able to tell your folks, your clients, what's going on. So I'm not going to get any license that I don't plan on living in, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
Right. So a lot of people have PA license. Me personally, I probably wouldn't get a PA license because I don't plan on ever living there. So I'm only getting licensed that I would reside in. I can tell you that. That's me. That's what I would do.
Are you a big traveler?
Yes. Don't even talk about traveling because I'm a little sick right now. Why would you bring that up?
Well,
bro, you know you'd have seen me out, and I ain't been out all year because this year was my buckle down year. I had to be smart, I had to be business oriented. I was doing a whole different thing. I had a whole career switch. I was full-time real estate agent. So some things you gotta let sit down. I was out of town every week last year. My son used to be like, okay, out of town every week. I miss it daily. It's to the point that I've never really been here on New Year's Eve, so I do not know what I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, I keep asking people, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's bad, bro.
Damn, it is coming very fast.
It's very fast. Like we are about to be in 2023. I'm super excited about it though. Like when I say super excited, I really am. I can't wait to see what this future holds for all of us. Like,
I mean, definitely. Really. I mean, you sound like you had a bomb 22, so I'm pretty sure you carrying the same energy, the same workflow.
I did. Like, I'm gonna do my recap. Away. I really did. Like, this year was really a year of like, I don't know, like flourishing, like a flower or something like that, or a butterfly spreading their wings. Because when I say this is the most peaceful I've been, like. I have no care in the world at the moment. It's just like, I feel just so overjoyed. I really did. Yeah.
I mean,
I feel really overjoyed, peaceful, mind clear, no type of, clouds or hiccups, life be life sometimes.
right.
But I can say I'm super, super pleased with this turnout. I did a lot of things. I traveled by myself this year. I never really traveled by myself. I was always with my mother and son. Or friends or at the time or something like that. I traveled by myself and it was amazing. I'm definitely going to do it again. I went to Preakness. Preakness was amazing. I always wanted to go to Preakness, but it's always rained or it always was a reason. I was in there this year. I was the belle of the ball. Yeah, the green dress. Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
The green dress. It's so funny. Somebody just said that, like, oh, how you did that green dress? That green dress was hitting. I wore green for money. Like, I swear that. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear green because I need to, because I had just got my license. When Preakness was, I got my license probably like 2 months before then.
Yeah, if I know you and how many networks and connections did you get?
At Preakness, definitely did. Some good ones, like in politics, everything. I learned so much. After that, I actually went out with a guy that put me down with a lot of stuff. He was like heavy into politics and knew a lot of politicians and stuff here. So I was networking.
Of course, you got to be.
Always, any room that I'm going in, that's the biggest thing.
Now, I would say, obviously, not everybody is blessed with beauty and charm as you are. How can how can you define when somebody is actually interested in the property or they are playing games trying to be interested in you? How can you differentiate between those two?
I didn't trust me. I done ran into that several times.
Yeah.
Hurry up and buy. That's how I do that. Like, no, for real. No, all jokes aside. I'm actually going through something like that a little bit now. So it's just like, listen, what's going on? What we doing here? You asking crazy questions like, do I have properties to show you? I always have properties to show you. What's going on? And I always ask for proof of funds. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. So I need to see the proof of funds. What you buying with. Or if you got pre-approval, I need to see that pre-approval.
So for proof of funds,
I come off very like mean, not mean, but very like stern. So
it's a strong energy.
I mean, but you know how men are, they gonna try their hand. I just be like, whatever. And I lie a lot. I ain't even gonna lie. I say I got a boyfriend. Or something like that. Look, I'm about to start wearing a wedding ring out here.
Why not? Wear a false one.
Right. Wear one so I might do that. Let me go on one of them little machines with a quarter and get the little ring.
Listen, I give you this, go to main event and just win you a ring and then just
give me main event card. Look, win me a ring so I can be like, so I can start waving. They gonna know, like, if she don't put her hand down, her hand broke, she gonna do it like
excuse me, there's something
like,
right here.
No,
don't play.
You ready? So they won't even ask, hey, if you take. But it do be forget that. People waste your time all the time because sometimes I'm like, why did you call me? Like, trust me, it's been some people that have wasted my time, females too, like male, female, people in general. And I'm just like, okay, I just be like, whatever. I don't give too much time in it. So, time is money and time is precious. And one thing, you cannot get time back. You can't get it back. You can't get no refund on that. So I just try to keep it at a minimum. If I say, for instance, if we talk the first day and the second day, like you don't hit me up, or I'll probably give you like 3 tries. I'm gonna say 3 tries. If it don't make sense, I ain't meet up and show you nothing, or I'm not showing you a whole bunch of properties even. No, I'm not.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. Far as like a rental or something like that. Yeah. So I'll show you 3, and then it's a fee. Like my fee, I think is like $150 if you want to show, and I'll show you as many as possible. As you want. But I'm not going to show you versus a buyer. You may have to show 20. Hopefully not. But you may have to. But we're in contract, so of course I'll do that. But say for instance for a rental, but I can say most of whom rents it to me, they pick their home either the first showing or at least the second. We've never went to the third. No. And then they get approved. So like this week, I think I did 5 rental applications. So we starting off the year good. That's what I'm trying to do.
Now, when you showing, right? Last couple of questions before we wrap up. Now, when you showing, is it the same as in the car industry where you know the type of people that will buy a hoopty, you know the
Right,
type of people that will buy a brand new car, how they will come in dressing, and how they will come and dress you, and then
right.
you know what type of people will come and buy the luxury. The people that's
Mhm.
gonna buy the AMGs, the BMW M's, and the Maserati and etc. Now in real estate, if somebody come to you, they got hoopty money. Are you gonna show them luxurious places or no?
No. So the first thing is, my first question to anybody is, what's your budget? Because you have
Yeah,
to pick what you can afford. Even
exactly.
now, even with that, like being said, let me rewind. When I said earlier, when I had a client and they were pre-approved for a high amount,
Yeah,
they didn't want that mortgage. They like, no, I don't want that. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's be
yeah,
logical here.
right,
They
right.
can afford it on paperwork, but are you comfortable with it? So
Yeah,
my question always is to anybody, are you comfortable with it? Not only that, even if you're going to buy, say for instance, like a row house or just like not too updated or new amenities or something like that, I'm going to ask you, what do you want in your home? That's number
yeah,
one. Number two, then you have to show me the proof of funds. So I'm not going
yeah.
to show you something that you can't afford,
That you can't afford
and you
it.
got to be pre-approved for that amount. So we're going to look at that amount, and usually like a little bit under, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And or if you have cash. So
Right.
that's the first thing, is budget. That's my first question when someone reaches out. What's your budget? Like, what are we looking for?
Okay, got you. Now we have a realtor right here in front of us. Let's get rid of this disposal people to think of when they say cash. When you come in to buy a house with a cash, do I have $250,000 in cash right here, or do I give you a check? Which one is it?
So no, usually, so with that amount, it's usually wired. So most
Yeah,
most you pay title. So
yeah,
most everything will get to title. They title companies X, that's who runs the whole thing, far
yeah,
as your closing costs, as far as everything that's on the
yeah,
house,
yeah.
everything. Title pretty much puts the deal together, and that's who you pay. No, you'll wire it to them. But no, I'm not about to sit there and count or have a counter,
I'll
a
have
money
a
counter
money
going like
count.
this. It sounds good, right? But no, I'm not about to do that.
It's
So no, you're
hella
not
good.
coming in there with a whole table. Who came?
Well,
Matter of fact, that was I think Lil Durk had brung like $1 million on
in cash,
what was
yeah.
it? Oh yeah, on the table. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, that's like
Well,
literally in the movies. If somebody about to go buy a Lambo, buy a
yeah, they were like, yeah,
1.2, here you go, boom.
nah.
Here's a briefcase. This is
Well,
1.5.
you
We already
know,
counted it and
y'all
take it.
money gotta be counted for now too. So
Yep,
nobody's doing that because they gonna be like, oh, one, they wanna know where you got that money from.
yep,
So they want to trace that money. So they're gonna put that definitely in the wire. So yeah,
yeah,
it would
yeah.
be wire. It would just, proof of funds will show me what in the account where is that. So it'll show
Right.
like 200,000, like your balance on there.
Like, okay, so when you say proof of funds, that's actually showing you somebody check-ins.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Proof of
okay.
funds is like your bank statement. Something says that you have 200K with your name on there, everything,
Yeah,
and whatever bank is that or wherever. And then your pre-approval comes from your lender. So it'll
okay.
say, hey, it'll say your first and last name, and it'll say you have been pre-approved
Proof,
for
yeah.
whatever amount, da 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 da. And then sometimes it'll have an expiration date on there, but I think they're good for. It depends. I've heard certain days. I mean, certain like 30 days. I've heard 60
Right.
days. So it just depends.
So if there's a property that's 200 and somebody have exactly 200 or 201, can they get approved for that, or it have to be higher than what the property costs?
So if you have cash, you don't have to get pre-approved for nothing. So
Right.
pre-approval only is when you're getting a loan, when you're
Alone,
taking out a
okay.
loan. So if
Right.
you're doing cash, it's just your money. Like we don't
Your
have to
money.
do a lender. We're not going to do a lender. So then you would have title, you would have like appraisal, you'll do appraisal, title, your home inspection, the regular
Right.
things. But
Which one is
cash is,
smarter though?
so it's no lender, it's no bank, it's cash, it's your money. You're going,
Straight out.
so you're going to pay, yes, you're going to wire that money, and that is going to be your house, no loan, no liens. Like we talked earlier, no
Yeah.
lien is going to be on a home. Yeah.
Now, is that smarter? If say if you buying, would you do the cash
So me
right
personally,
away, or
I
say it
don't
again?
like that. So I would always buy with cash.
You
Don't
will buy was buy
yeah.
cash and
So once again, it's what makes it makes
You're
sense to you.
comfortable and make
But
you
if I
sense.
had that money, yeah, most people that have money,
Yeah.
it depends because I've seen people that have money, but they like loans.
Yeah.
They, they feel like that's smarter. I know people that's like, look, I'm not going to have a loan here. I'm going to buy this. I've had investors where they'll be like, all right, I'm going to do I'm going to do cash with this one, but now I'm going to do a loan with this one. So it just depends.
So if you have cash, can you say, okay, hey, I will put half here and then I will cover the half rest? If you can do that, that means you have to get a lender.
Yeah, so whatever you can put cash, you can put however much you want down. You can let them know, like, hey, I want to put this much out down. So then my loan is 50 or 70 or whatever that balance is. Then they would do your pre-approval on that.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we towards the wrap up. Anything you wanted people to know about you, about your business, top notch, your realtor, and what you got coming up in 2023?
Well, I told you some of my goals. So I'm gonna do commercial.
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely get my license with that. So I'll be showing some buildings, and you guys can hit me up for office spaces and things like that. You can definitely hit me on IG, Rayshawna the Realtor. Facebook is also Rayshawna the Realtor. Business page. Email is rayshawnatherealtor@gmail.com. So yes, hit me up. Any questions? I'm your go-to girl.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here you have the beautiful realtor Rayshawna. Thank you so much. And